see spaghetti and meatballs staring at me. Spaghetti and meatballs staring at me. Get yourself a serving, maybe two. Talking Bulls basketball is what we do. Get your garlic bread and your dish of the week on spaghetti and meatballs. Oh yeah, spaghetti and meatballs. Don't forget the Parmesan cheese.
Well, what do we have ourselves here? Is that another season-long portion of spaghetti and meatballs?
We're back.
Host Trevin and my good buddy Jonsy. How you doing, buddy?
Hey man, I'm alive. How you doing?
I'm doing the same. I'm alive and maybe even somewhat alive and well. So
yeah.
Feels good to be back.
It feels good to be back. We got a lot to kind of digest.
Yes.
A lot to consume. So,
yes.
Where do you want to start?
Well, just a quick thing for those of you watching. I'm having some technical issues over here, so I've got some weird symbol on the screen. I'm not sure what that is, but we'll work on that. We're actually filtering through some interns that will eventually take care of this stuff. So
we got some new producers and we got an intern, and he's a good kid.
He is. He's learning. He's learning.
But,
he's got potential.
So here's where I'm at. There's just so much. Like, we're 2 days removed from the blockbuster trade. Yeah. Obviously, we're feeling ramifications in the Central.
Yes.
You and I also talk, though. Obviously, Dame and Giannis now form one of the top 3-4 duos in the league.
Yeah, agreed.
But interesting enough, we also said, what did that trade do, though, to decimate the rest of the lineup?
Yeah, that hurts the backcourt, the depth of the backcourt for sure.
Now, I don't know if you still have your board where our number one public enemy, Grayson Allen.
Yes, I do. And that's something I wanted to address with you as well. We'll have to
he's not getting off that board.
I agree. I'm not sure if he is deserving of the number one spot anymore.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that he's not in the same division anymore.
Yeah, we're only going to see him twice a year.
But he's still a son of a bitch that we hate.
Oh, we still hate that piece of shit.
Yeah.
Absolute scum of the earth.
Yeah. So because part of like we were saying with the depth of the roster for the Bucks.
Yep. Here we go.
Jevon Carter is now a member of the Bulls.
Right. So they lose. Now, obviously, you gain Dame. You lose Drew Holiday. You lose Jevon Carter, who was getting you solid backup numbers. 8 points, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, 1.5 steals a game. Like, good, solid numbers.
And shooting a solid 40% around there from 3-point land, too, which is obviously what the Bulls need help with.
Yeah, an area we are lacking in.
Yes.
Now, we've addressed some moves other teams have made. Let's look at what we've done. You talked about it already with Jevon Carter. And the thing with us is they weren't huge. They weren't blockbuster. They weren't blowing anybody out of the water. But we got a guy that I'm really intrigued with in Torrey Craig.
I agree with you. There wasn't a whole lot that in terms of what the team could do in terms of large moves, especially with their we don't like to get into too much like organizational structure and all that, but in terms of their willingness to spend over into the luxury tax. But anyways, I agree with you. And I think that because I would classify those two as the two bigger moves, if you will, that they, I don't even know if they made any other signings of free agents, but I'm intrigued by them. I think that they're good, solid additions. By no means are they going to push us up to the 50 win mark or above, but I do think that they're solid additions that hopefully can, add to the team and meld or, mesh well with Zach and DeMar and all that. So
yeah, I really think the thing I like about Torrey Craig is, and I'm not, at least not now, I'm not saying on September 30th or September 29th, whatever today is, that I want to get into starting lineups, but I think he and Patrick Williams really complement each other well. Bigger guys that can switch onto a small guy on the defensive end. We need somebody in that second unit that's defensive minded.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking of which, what do you just now? Again, we're the last couple days of September.
Yep.
Training camp is still a few days away. The first actual preseason game is over a week away. Regular season's like a month away. So besides all that, on this day, what do you think like the starting five would look like?
Okay.
What do you think your ideal starting five would be?
This is mine, and there's one, and yours could be the exact same thing, or yours can be, obviously it's not going to be completely opposite because I think three are locked in. But there's some, I could be swayed with this, and I think I'm like on the fence about it. So our two guard, or I'm just going to go down the list. Vooch at the 5. I think that's an obvious.
Right. Yep. Agreed.
For me, P. Will at the 4. And I don't know how we classify this, but DeMar and Zach at the 3 and 2.
Okay.
And now this is where I really have a question mark for 2 reasons. I put in Kobe. I thought he had a great year last. I thought he had I know we always have our guys. Yours has always been Vooch. Mine's always been Kobe. I thought he had a great year.
Yeah.
Does it detract from his progress having him in there with the big 3? Or is it like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because he's always looked good off the bench.
Right.
He always adds that spark, that the potential of the quick 8 points in 5 minutes or whatever, hit a couple of big threes. So because that was the other, he obviously wasn't he wasn't an unrestricted free agent signing with, but that was a big signing that they had, and I think they got him on a good deal as well. But I don't know. To me, I almost wonder if you start AC and then have Kobe come off the bench for that reason. But
can I bring up a question to you?
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying with AC. But when you say that, I almost lean toward putting Kobe in the second unit with AC and sliding Io into the starting 5.
Okay. I could see that, because I do agree that Io and Caruso need to be on, with both of them, both of their specialties being defense.
Yeah, yes, and that's why.
Yes. Although then you have Javon Carter as well. Is he going to get a chance to be the starting point guard, or is he signed to be the backup no matter what?
It's just
so I think we kind of have the same issue with this roster that we've always had in terms of the backcourt. They have good depth at the backcourt. They have the superstar in Zach and DeMar, if you put him at the 2. Kobe, they have the defense with Caruso and Io, but I still feel personally like they're a little bit thin in the front court. We have a good problem to have. I don't think you can go wrong either way. Obviously, you just want to, get the best 5 out there that work well together. So, again, end of September, nothing is decided yet. So we'll see how that plays out, though, through training camp.
The other thing, so it's like, okay, we have Torrey Craig. I don't know who is playing backup to Vooch. Is it Simonovic? Is it, I don't know. Are we going that small where it's like, we're going to say that Torrey Craig. Like, I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, because we still have Drummond, correct?
Yes, we do.
But obviously that's not going to get you a ton of minutes. I'm actually trying to pull up the roster right now. Is he still on the roster?
I don't know if they sent him. I guess technically not. Now,
actually, one person that because I was looking through the roster
earlier,
and
I'm going to write. Did you say it?
No, I have not said it. I'm looking on the roster.
I'm just going to write it down, and I want to see if you're going to say what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
Now, this is a guy. Okay, so is this a guy perhaps that has not seen maybe any minutes in the actual NBA yet?
Yes.
I'm looking and wondering if Justin Lewis is going to get some play.
Okay.
Who do you have written down?
I have written down here Adam Sanogo from UConn.
Oh, actually, wow. Yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. I love that signing after the draft.
I did too. I thought it was, now, again, probably not your traditional big guy, but like, can he do in that second unit what we need him to do?
Yeah. You know what? He reminds me now. I don't know if
the final rosters, clearly the final roster's not out there yet. There's some cuts that need to be made.
Right. But I really did like that. Now, I am a little partial to UConn. I've mentioned that. We've talked about it before, back to the Khalid Al-Amin days.
Oh, yeah.
So I did like that. He's an undersized center in terms of height, but he kind of reminds me, he's almost even bigger than Draymond Green. Now, I'm not saying that he is Draymond Green and that he can do the same things, but if he can do a few of those things and play solid defense and help out on the second unit, which I think he can do. I mean, he was again, I know it was college, but he was a beast during that Final Four, dude.
He really was. So
that whole tournament.
We need, it's like we said, it's late September. We haven't even got to training camp yet. We got to see how things play out. But I know we're the MeatBulls. At the end of last year, we aired some grievances. We had some frustrations. We wanted some trades to be made. They didn't blow it up. The big three of DeMar, Zach, and Vooch are back with, in my opinion, some really good complementary pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The three of them are still the most talented members of this roster, and we can only hope that Zach starts off this season like he played the second half of last season. And I know that he was coming off the knee surgery and stuff, so hopefully he's fully healthy and he can come out, in his best form right from the start. I would like to see, because, the thing, and we've talked about it before, and we're not going to spend a lot of time, but Lonzo Ball is going to be out the whole season. So, but my point of that is when they had a true, now, again, Lonzo can do certain things that other point guards can't do. I understand that. But when they had a true point guard, a true facilitator, that team was at its best. So,
unbelievably accurate.
So, I don't know, again, like we were kind of discussing who fits that role best on this roster, but I do think that they have some pieces that they can mix and match with and end up, creating mismatches for the other team. So, of course, we're probably foolishly and naively optimistic, but, when I look at their win total at 37.5, I can't help but want to go towards the over on that.
And I'm with it and I'm just going to, okay, so here are the teams in the East that would be ahead of us based on win totals. And you tell me what Atlanta. I feel like we're a better team than Atlanta.
Yeah. I mean, I obviously would have to, or we would have to look at their rosters and but just off the top of my head, yeah, I totally agree.
Boston. No.
No.
Boston is a superior team.
Right. So
We have
I'll keep track. So that's one team for sure that we say is better.
one team. Brooklyn, we're both at 37.5.
Yeah. So we can't say that they're better. So that's still only one team.
Cleveland, 50.5 wins.
Yeah, they're a better team.
They are a better team. Let's see. Indiana Pacers, 38.5. I want you to circle that one.
Yeah, that's I actually, when I was looking at the win totals earlier, I saw that they were right there too. So that's another one that I cannot say that they are definitely better than the Bulls. So I'm still only at 2.
Okay. And there's a couple that are obvious. Miami, 48.5.
Yep.
Yep. Milwaukee, 52.5. Now here's an interesting one for you, Trevin. I don't know if are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
The New York Knicks at 45.5 wins seems like a lot to me.
That does seem like a lot.
Like I just, you got Julius Randle, you got Jalen Brunson, you got RJ Barrett.
Boy, I wish my camera was working so you could see my face right now.
I can imagine.
That doesn't seem like just a couple of wins too high.
Yeah.
But I don't like maybe it's because I hate Knicks fan 69, but
and the only other one they have ahead of us in the East is Philadelphia, 49.5.
Okay, so you have 6 teams that you can definitely say, as of right now, have a better roster than the Bulls.
Okay, can you read those back to me? The 6 that I told you.
So we have Boston, we have Miami, we have Milwaukee, we have Cleveland, and who was the last one that and Philadelphia.
And did you put New York?
No, because I mean, I suppose based on the win totals, yeah, you could say that, but I don't think they're that much better than the Bulls.
And so I guess here's where I'm going with this whole thing, is that after we list those and I look at those win totals, I see the Bulls anywhere from 5 to 8 competing in that area.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the top 4 for sure are set. Philadelphia, just because of the whole James Harden thing, and but I would put them probably better than the Bulls. But yeah, after I think of course you got to get lucky with health and with everyone, being, performing at their peak level. But I wouldn't be surprised if they were competing for that 5th spot.
No.
At some, further down the line in the season.
No, I would not be either. And so I'm just going to get in here, and I'm like all over the place with information. I just feel like right there we're competing.
Yeah.
And really that's all I can ask for.
I agree with you. And,
I'd like to start the season like on a positive note.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go through the schedule here for you, and you tell me. Let me find
let's go through the first 10 games.
All right.
And without even knowing who they are, I'm hoping that we can go at least 6-4.
Okay, I'm trying to see, like, on the website, it's not really deciphering. Okay, here we go. Okay. Oklahoma City's a tough start for us.
Yeah. Yeah, they could be good this year.
So, like, let's just we're just going to say, by the numbers, we'll call that a loss.
All right.
Do I think that? No, I'm not saying it. Toronto, I think we get a win.
Yeah, agreed.
Detroit, I think we obviously know the answer to that.
So 2-1.
I have no doubt in my mind we are a better team than the Indiana Pacers.
I'm going 3-1.
3-1. So
if we start 3-1 now, I'd be really happy with that. I'd be feeling pretty good.
Okay, so we go to Dallas.
Okay.
Did Dallas get marketably better?
Not off the top of my head.
Let me look. Dave Aldsvig in our fantasy league is a big. I mean, they got Kyrie, but I didn't think that whole experiment looked like it was working too good.
No, they fell apart at the end of last season. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, you know what? They did sign Grant Williams, which is one I wish the Bulls would have got.
Oh yeah, gosh, that would have really helped the Bulls.
Yeah, they got. I mean, they're okay. They're a good team. They got a solid lineup.
All right, so we can put that down as a loss.
Yes.
No, it's at Dallas too, right?
It is. For the people listening to, we're not saying these are wins or losses.
Correct.
We're just saying what we think in September, starting the season. Now, this is where I get confused here, Trevin. So it says on the schedule, Friday, November 3rd at home versus the Nets. But do you see where it says in-season tournament?
Is that start already?
But what does that mean? That's just the first game of this tournament, right?
Yeah, because what's the day? Like, what's the day of the week of it?
It's a Friday.
Okay, I see. Now, obviously, that's something that we're going to have to get used to because this will be the first season with the in-game tournament.
But it doesn't. Let me ask you. Like, it's not like they all go to some place and are playing in a tournament.
No.
Like, the tournament is just within the context of the season.
Correct. From what I believe is that, like, I don't know if it's once a week or once every other week, but like that Friday night, I think maybe all the teams are playing and they're all like that night it goes towards the in-game playoff.
Yes, because 2 weeks later we play another one. So anyway,
okay.
I'm counting the Brooklyn Nets as a win.
I agree.
Now we have a very tough home and away.
So what are we at there? 5-2?
We're at 4-2.
4-2.
Almost an impossible home and away for us. With the Denver Nuggets the next night.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a tough one. So 4-3.
4-3. We're at 7 games. We got the Jazz.
Oh, that's a win.
A win. So that's 5-3. Suns, I'm going to count as a loss. That's 5-4. And here it comes, Trevin.
It all comes down to this.
The Detroit Pistons.
Oh, yes. All right. We made our 6-4.
6-4.
Okay. I think that's completely realistic.
I really do too. I've gone through this. I've done the numbers. We're not, we're not being the homers that we are. We're calling out losses when we see a loss.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I think 6-4 through the first 10 games. And if we take it the season like 10-game segments, and if we can just go 6-4, 5-5, it's like
in the occasional 4-6.
Yes, right. But
it's just those stretches where God, last year we were going 2-8.
Yeah. Oh man, there was a couple. There was 2 different stretches where it was like.
And Trevin, it wasn't only the 2 different stretches, it was the 2 different stretches where it was like teams we should be beating.
Yes.
You remember it was like Jalen Suggs 3-pointer at the buzzer that just ripped our balls off and just.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where we're at after 10.
Well, and see, that's the thing, that's you bring up a good point, because that's the thing that this team needs to do. They need to win those games that they're supposed to win.
Yep.
Too many times last year,
You're right.
You'd look at this, we would do this, and we'd go over the next 5 games, and every game that we think that they would win, they would lose, and every game we thought they would lose, they either won or they were a lot closer than we thought they would be. So, that's a huge key to this season. Because that those add up, and instead of 36 wins, you end up with 41 wins or something.
Yeah, for sure. You're 100% right. As we get kind of, and I know I told you I had to kind of snake out a little early. What do you think? What do we need to do to remain competitive and at least compete for that 6, 7, 8 spot?
Well, I think one, like we just said, and the other thing is we need to find a way to be consistent on defense. There were some, I mean, it wasn't even game to game of, two would look like two totally different teams out there playing defense, but it would go from quarter to quarter where, so I think playing solid, consistent, you don't have to be one of the top 5 teams defensively, but you can't, just consistency on the defensive end. And I think another part, and it's also touching on what we said earlier, is you need to find another piece to get into that front court rotation to be able to help with Vooch, to help him defensively, to fill in some of those gaps that he has. So yeah, I think if you can do those couple of things, the other pieces are there.
And I agree. I mean, you're nodding. I agree with everything you're saying. My only key that's outside of yours is just cutting down on these unforced turnovers.
Yeah.
It was we addressed it on this show. We had to lead the league in stepping over the inbound, like the baseline to inbound a ball.
we probably had more than half the teams in the league combined.
We had to have.
Yeah, it was brutal.
And you're every other game, we're stepping over the baseline and inbounding a ball, and
and that's what leads to this
complacency.
And losing these games that they shouldn't lose to, and not being able to, because a lot of those games that they lost that maybe they shouldn't have, they were winning in the fourth quarter. You need to be able to close those games out, and you can't have stupid, silly mistakes.
You're right.
Trying to do that.
So before we go, it's just this year we got a lot. We're back. We're going to be back with our normal lineup. We're going to be talking to our guys on the inside.
Yep.
We are going to be doing our dish of the week.
Yep.
We are going to be, we might have a guest on. We might have KC on once that he had told us that he was going to jump on with us once. We had, and I didn't even know what's our new producer's the young kid's name.
What is it? Is it Jesse? No, not Jesse. No, that was
something weird.
Yeah, it was. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out.
Anyway, he sends me this email that Chuck Swirsky got in touch with him about coming on once, which I think would be really fun.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Always been a big Chuck fan.
Yeah, we love Chuck. We love at the Christmas party. He's always a blast.
Yeah.
He came to your watermelon eating contest over the summer. That was fun.
I've never seen anyone spit watermelon seeds further than him. That was not part of the contest, but man, it was impressive.
Talk about a hoot.
Yeah, that was a real hoot. Can't wait for it next year.
So we got a lot of good stuff. It's going to be a fun season. It's great to be back in it.
Yes.
And what do you want to shoot for next week, or what are we thinking? It's kind of hard without them playing yet and training camp starting.
Yeah, we'll see. I think maybe we'll try and hit it up in a couple of weeks just because of that.
But as always, if something major happens, we're going to jump on. And address it. So it's going to be fun, Trevin. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I'm excited to be back. I'm also looking forward to it. So,
well, it's good seeing you again, buddy. I'm sorry to cut this one short. I got to run.
All good. All good. You got to do what you got to do, buddy.
We're back, baby. As always.
That's Al Dente.